In 2026, I'm done getting in my own way. I was asked a powerful question recently, and that was, what do I need to let go of to stop getting in my own way? And just to preface, this was not in a casual conversation. This was with a coach that I am personally working with. And when she asked me this, it really hit home for me because there was something that almost made me tear up because I'm like, wow, there is just a knowing within me that knows that I've been getting in my own way. And I didn't know it in the moment how, but naturally, I dove into deeper reflection and 3 big ways came to mind as to how I'm personally getting in my own way. But in 2026, I'm done getting in my own way. So today I want to share with you the 3 biggest ways that I've noticed I've been getting in my own way. And I quite honestly think a lot of us are holding ourselves back and getting in our own way in these same ways. So my intention here is to share these with you to inspire you to get curious about how you might be getting in your own way and how you can maybe let go of these things or those things coming to mind for you to stop getting in your own way in 2026. Because when we truly realize that we're the only one getting in the way of us stepping into our true potential, our true alignment, our true authenticity, our true fulfilling life, it changes everything. And we have the power to stop getting in our own way. So let's make this the year where we all stop getting in our own way. And I'm very excited to dive in. But before I share with you the 3 ways I'm going to stop getting in my own way and how you can too, if you are new here, welcome to Fulfilled. My name is Camille and I am the host of this podcast. If you are new, please press follow or subscribe wherever you are listening to the show if you want to tune into both episodes every single Monday and Thursday when they are released. I share episodes every Monday and Thursday to inspire and guide you on your journey to stepping into your true potential, stepping into alignment, stepping into a life that feels more fulfilling to you. And if you are returning, thank you so much for tuning into this episode today and for showing up for yourself. If you haven't already, it would mean the world to me if you left a rating and review wherever you are listening to Fulfilled. This really helps my effort to grow the show and to continue to give you guys 2 episodes every single week. So here we go. Here are the 3 biggest things that I plan to let go of in 2026 to truly stop getting in my own way. And these are definitely things I've talked about in other episodes, but it's because they're so important. They're so powerful to continue to remind ourselves of. So I'm going to dive into detail as to how these impact me, why I need to let go of them, but also shifts and reminders that I plan to take into 2026 to truly let go of them and ones that you can practice too. Because again, these 3 things I think are 3 things that really keep a lot of us stuck and keep us all from stepping into our true alignment and potential and are keeping us in our own way. So enough rambling, let's dive in. First one, comparison to others. I, again, have talked a lot about this topic, but it's because I feel so passionate and strongly about it. It has really become one of the biggest barriers that keeps me from feeling good and aligned and positive about what I'm doing and how I'm showing up. And it's no surprise that social media is the number one thing that is keeping us comparing to other people. Social media is literally a tool and platform that is created for us to be able to look at what everyone is doing and when they're doing it. It's an automatic platform to compare. And I personally struggle a lot with this because I see what other people are doing. I see maybe what they're creating, the career path that they're on, even the money people are making now because people are sharing that on social media, which I find very unethical and weird, but that's a sidebar. We can see what people look like, their relationship status, what they're doing on the weekends. There's endless ways that we can compare ourselves to others on social media. And this can feel really toxic because I don't know about you, but when I see what other people are doing and have such a clear lens onto all aspects of their lives, it makes me feel not good enough. It makes me question the path that I'm on and distracts me from that path and kind of pulls me in all these different directions, making me feel like I should be doing more of what they're doing or look like they look like or wear those clothes that they're wearing or go on that trip that they're going on, whatever. But I've also realized it's impossible to not compare. It's unrealistic and impossible to just expect that we can step away from comparison entirely. It's something that's so deeply ingrained and wired in us that that's also not an option. But I actually did a whole episode on how to compare in a healthier way, how to use comparison to improve our lives instead of make us feel worse and continue to fall down that toxic trap of comparison. So I'll link that episode below so I don't have to dive totally in depth in this episode here. But all that to say, in 2026, I am not trying to let go of comparison entirely because that's just setting myself up for failure. And again, it's impossible. We're human. The thoughts are going to arise. But here's how I plan to shift. And I dive again more into this in that episode if you want to check it out. But a couple helpful shifts when I notice a comparison come up that I'm going to remind myself of that you can too. Their success has nothing to do with my own. And their success has nothing to do with whether or not I'm going to be successful. I think for some reason, the scarcity mindset within us likes to think like, oh, they're successful, they're happy, therefore there's less for me. But what if instead their success and happiness is evidence that it's possible for you and me and all of us? The truth is there's no limit to the amount of success and happiness and wealth and abundance out there. And so their success has nothing to do with your own. Second one is their path and timeline has nothing to do with yours. Every single one of us are on our own unique path and timeline. And the more we trust in how our path and timeline might look different, but it's intentional, the sooner we can let go of constantly comparing ourselves to that path and timeline that other people are on. Because again, every time I go on social media and see maybe things happening for other people that aren't happening for me yet, or they're on a totally different path and timeline, it often causes me to question my own. But the reason that this has held me back for so long and has really actually kept me in my own way, all it's doing when I'm looking so much at the lives of other people is just pulling me off course of my own. And so to redirect me back onto my path, I can use these shifts to remind myself that their success, their path, their timeline has nothing to do with my own. And I know that this path and timeline is aligned with me and with what I'm supposed to be doing when it's all supposed to be unfolding. And then final shift and reminder is we are never seeing the full story on social media. Know that the photos you're comparing to, the story you're comparing to, the life you think you're comparing yours to, you're not seeing their whole life. You are seeing the top 5% tip, not the 95% beneath the surface. And you're probably seeing the filtered, curated versions. You're not seeing the self-doubt they feel, the messy behind the scenes. So when I notice my comparison tendencies creep up, these are the shifts I'm going to lean into. And these are shifts that you can lean into as well to stop letting comparison keep you in your own way. And I actually want to wrap up this first one with a helpful question or two as well. And that is, do I feel called to do this because it feels inspiring and aligned? Or am I doing this out of a fear of falling behind or because that person is doing it? And these questions can help you redirect you on your path when you notice maybe yourself being pulled in all these different directions because of what you see other people doing. They're helpful questions that I often return to, like, okay, am I doing that thing because I saw that person doing it and, want to feel like I'm keeping up with them, or because it feels aligned and natural and authentic to me? So when you notice the comparison creep in, come back to these shifts and ask yourselves these questions to redirect you on your path, because more often than not, that comparison is probably not helpful. And I also did a whole episode on social media and how I have actually shifted my relationship with social media to use it in a healthier way. So if you want to compare in a healthier way and use social media in a healthier manner, check out both of those episodes linked below because I dive into more detail and strategies on both of those topics there. So let's go into the second way. The second way I have noticed that I've been getting in my own way and that I plan to let go of in 2026 is focusing on what other people think of me. So you're probably noticing a trend here. It has to do with focusing too much on other people, but this one's the opposite, right? This one is worrying about what other people think of us. And this fear of judgment, this fear of rejection is something that I definitely have had and notice has blocked me in a lot of ways, and also is something that I see with so many people. Everyone in my life, all the clients that I work with, it's just honestly, I think a huge human tendency is fear of judgment, fear of rejection. So how this comes up for me is focusing a lot more on how I'm being perceived by other people instead of how I'm showing up. And in reflection on the things that have been keeping me in my own way, this is a big one. Because when I'm so focused on what other people think of me, it's preventing me from showing up fully authentically. It's not me showing up as the aligned and authentic and radiant version that I want to. It's the insecure version of me creeping up and being like, oh, but I want them to like me, right? Or I want them to see me in a certain light and view me a certain way. It's the people pleaser in us, the part of us that never wants to rock the boat and that wants to be liked, quite honestly, and that wants to fit in. But the reason that this causes me to truly get in my own way and that's held me back is because it prevents me from being fully authentic. And if you're hearing this and it's resonating, maybe it's prevented you from showing up fully authentically. It can feel very consuming when we're so focused on how other people are perceiving us instead of how we're showing up. And I did a whole nother episode on authenticity. I'll link that below as well. And I know I'm referencing a lot of episodes, but it's because I really share helpful tools and shifts and reminders on all these topics more in depth. So if there are certain topics that you really resonate with, check out that episode. In that authenticity episode, I share that our gift is our authenticity. Our uniqueness is our superpower. And when we're not showing up authentically because we're too worried about what other people think of us, we are hiding that gift from the world. And if you ask me, it's preventing us from really feeling aligned and stepping into our most aligned selves. Because if we're not showing up authentically, I would argue it's impossible to truly feel aligned. Because there's part of us within us that is feeling a certain way, thinking a certain way. But if we're not acting in that way and embodying that version of us that deep down we know we are, that is misalignment. So I have noticed this come up. Like I share in the episode, it's like this voice in the back of my mind that's wanting to filter or wondering how I'm being perceived by other people. And I'm sick of it. I am really focusing on letting that go this year. Because I know that authenticity is so powerful. It is the path to connection. It is the path to alignment. It is the path to us sharing our gift with the world. And so this year, I'm giving myself full permission to let this fear go. Let this worry and concern about what other people are thinking of me go. And this also comes up as that fear of failing in front of other people. So maybe that resonates with you as well, like putting ourselves out there in a vulnerable and real way and not being received by other people or being judged or rejected. So like I share a little bit more in the authenticity episode, the specific reasons why it's unproductive to focus so much on what other people think of us is A, we can't control what other people think of us. No matter how we show up, no matter how much we try to people please, they will always have their opinions of us. They will always judge us. That is just the reality of it. Second thing, people will always project their own insecurities onto us. So we could be showing up in a way that we know that they're going to like, and they might still have a problem with us or might still judge us and talk about us behind our backs. And then finally, trying to fit in with others and trying to focus so much on being perceived a certain way by others. All it's doing is preventing us from being who we really are and living the life we really want to live. We're living for them, not for us. So here's how I plan to shift this year and how you can too, because I don't know about you, but I'm done getting in my own way when it comes to letting their opinions determine how I live and how I show up. So it's as simple as this. When I notice myself focusing too much on what other people think of me or focusing at all on how I'm being perceived and what other people think of me, I recognize that and instead redirect my focus to simply ask, do I value and respect the person I'm showing up as? Am I showing up as my aligned and authentic self in this moment? Or am I filtering or curating myself in some way to be liked? And that simple shift brings us back from worrying about what they're thinking to just showing up as the person that we want to embody, as that aligned and authentic version of us. And just honestly giving ourselves permission to not really care what other people think. Because if we are showing up as a version that we love, the right people and even more people are going to be drawn into us because that energy, that alignment, that authenticity is magnetic. And I believe that to be true. And I'm finally ready to truly embody that. Okay, third thing that I'm letting go of in 2026 to finally stop getting in my own way. And that is no longer buying into self-doubt and negative thinking. And notice how I said buying into, because I need to preface too, it is impossible to not have self-doubt and negative thoughts creep in. Our thinking mind is loud and we're human beings. We can't control the thoughts that come in. But we can control the thoughts that we give energy to, and the thoughts that we cling to, and the thoughts that we make our reality. Because the truth is, our mindset is everything, and our thoughts do determine our reality. They are so powerful. No matter our external circumstance, our thoughts determine if we feel good about that thing or bad about that thing. But the reason why this has caused me to get in my own way for so long is because for so long, I feel like when thoughts of doubt or negativity or scarcity creep in, I would kind of let them take over a lot of the time. It would cause me to overthink and to just ruminate on these thoughts that felt uncomfortable and made me feel like I needed to like externally fix things to make them go away. Like even just this past weekend, little sidebar story here. So a brand new gym opened up next door in my building, and I had already been feeling a bit unsure about my apartment. I'm like, did I just sign this apartment too soon? I'm kind of paying a lot of money to live here, and it's a nice amenity building, but I feel like I don't fully love it. And every single person in my apartment building seems to be joining this brand new gym next door because it has a sauna and a cold plunge, and it's really nice. And I kind of wanted to join the gym as well, but I was starting to really get in my head about it because I'm like, okay, well, I'm in this nice amenity building. The only amenity here I use is the gym. Why would I spend an extra like $400 a month to join this new gym when I'm paying so much already for this building? And now I would no longer be using the one amenity that I am actually using. And I really started to buy into these thoughts of scarcity and doubt and kind of negativity, feeling like it had to be one or the other, feeling like I made the wrong choice with the apartment. So much so that I started looking at other apartments and started to like come up with a whole plan of how, okay, well, I can get out of my lease and maybe move to another building where I can make both the gym and apartment building work. I swear to you, I was making this whole problem and narrative and story out of nothing. I was creating problems for myself because of this doubt and negative thinking that crept in, that I was giving all my energy and attention to. I was buying into them. And it caused me to kind of make that my whole day. It took up my whole energy and headspace that day. But later that day, I finally decided to shift. I talked to some friends and family, and I was like, you know what, saying this out loud, I recognize that this is like kind of silly. And now I'm annoyed that I let it take up most of my day. And I'm sure that if you're listening to this and are a human being, you have allowed those thoughts of doubt and negativity creep in and often take over. But the sooner we choose to shift to different thoughts, to not let those thoughts of doubt and negativity creep in and become our reality, the easier it is to not spiral into them. So what I do and what I'm really going to lean into practicing this year to stop letting these thoughts of doubt and negativity get in my way is to recognize as soon as they come in and as soon as I start to maybe buy into them a little bit and shift as soon as possible. And let me preface, it feels hard, because those thoughts start to feel really real. It starts to feel like they are our reality. But here's the key that I didn't know for a long time, and that maybe you might not recognize. It's not our reality that determine our thoughts. It's not something out there we need to externally fix for the thoughts to go away. Our thoughts determine our reality. Our thoughts determine how we feel. So the sooner we shift to choosing more positive thoughts, the sooner we're going to feel better about our reality and our circumstance. And I'm telling you, like the second I started to choose thoughts of abundance and gratitude for this space that I actually really love, instead of ones of scarcity and feeling like things weren't perfect in my apartment, I came back to really loving my space and feeling totally at peace with my circumstance and grateful and abundant. But it wasn't anything I needed to fix out there. It was simply choosing new thoughts, shifting. Because every time I buy into thoughts of self-doubt or negativity or scarcity, it never serves me. It's always just an energy drain and a waste of time. I notice they creep in a lot too with like the podcast, right? Like podcasts are slow growth. So I'm like looking at all these big podcasts taking off. I'm like, wow, look at the top 10 on Spotify this year. Like that's so cool. Like wonder if I'll ever get there. And sometimes start to get pulled into that negativity and that spiral. Never serves me. But believing in myself, choosing thoughts of abundance and positivity, shifting when I notice that doubt creep in, it brings me back to feeling confident and excited about what I'm doing here and what I am creating. So again, it's not going to be easy, but a simple question to ask when you notice yourself starting to feel doubtful, a bit negative. Notice the thoughts that are creeping in and ask yourself, is this true? And also, is this serving me? When I ask myself these questions, like last Saturday, for example, almost always the answer to both is no. And that just like gives me permission and an opening to shift to a different thought instead, to choose a thought that does serve me, to choose to feel good in that moment instead of continuing to spiral into that doubt and negativity. Because again, there's nothing we need to fix out there. We need to shift our thoughts first, and the external naturally aligns to follow that. And I do think this is a big way that a lot of us are keeping us in our own way, because when that doubt and negativity creep in, it makes us feel like we're not capable of doing what we want. It makes us feel like our reality is so difficult and challenging and like we're never going to get there, because those thoughts start to feel real. But this year, I'm not letting those thoughts hold me back from doing what I want to do and keep me from showing up in the way that I want to show up. And you don't have to either. But it all starts with our mindset. It all starts with our thoughts. And quick aside, if you are looking to step into your true potential, but maybe noticing that some of these cycles are keeping you in a bit of insecurity, preventing you from stepping into that most confident and aligned version of you, maybe not knowing even what that path looks like or how to do it. I'm working one-on-one with clients in my life coaching practice where I help you step into your full potential, work through these exact things that are keeping so many of us stuck, that were keeping me stuck for a long time. And you deserve to step into your true potential. So if that resonates with you, if you're just curious what it's about, want to explore, maybe set up a free call with me. Check out that website, learn more about what I have to offer, and I would love to learn more about your life and help you step into your true potential. Okay, let's get back to the episode. So these are the 3 big things that I plan to let go of in 2026 and really practice shifting to finally stop getting in my own way. Because again, these are the 3 big things that I can feel are keeping me in my own way. Again, first one, comparing to others. Whenever I notice that comparison creep in, I shift back to focusing on my path and what feels aligned to me. Second thing is worrying about how I'm being perceived by other people, or worrying about other people judging me, worrying about what they're thinking of me. And instead asking, do I value and respect and like the person that I'm showing up as? And the rest is out of our control. And finally, not letting thoughts of doubt and negativity determine how I feel and how I choose to show up, but instead shift to a positive mindset that allows me to feel good about the path that I'm on and allows me to make decisions from confidence and feeling good instead of doubt, scarcity, and negativity. So if any of these shifts resonated with you, if you enjoyed this episode, send this to someone in your life who you love, someone who could really use these shifts. And if you loved today's episode, leave a rating and review on the show wherever you are listening, on Spotify, Apple, YouTube. Again, this would mean the world to me and really help in my efforts to grow the show. And I'm so glad that you're here and a part of the Fulfilled community. And I'll see you all again soon on your journeys to living this life fully.